Hi, I'm Debbie, or Dealer4519 on YouTube. Now that the holidays are over, I'm going to go back to the story of my life, and I'm going to back up a little further because I think this mattered. Well, it affected me in ways that I couldn't then understand. It was during those times when my mother would bring men home from the bar to meet me, and there was a house full of people, but only enough room for seating for 4. She had a 3-seat couch and 1 chair. And one night in particular, everybody was drunk but me, because remember, I get woke up at 1 in the morning for these events. And my mom's girlfriend, Gail, reached down and started to kiss me. Well, of course, I slapped her and shoved her, but that seems to be far less than I should have done. And my mother knew, and my mother did nothing. It was at that point that I realized these people were probably psychopaths. Well, I'd already figured that out about Gail, but for my mother to not do anything about it, that was kind of sick. So, I'm pretty sure that I decided then that they were all psychos. So, I made it my goal at that point in my life, and I had just turned 16, to decide that that wasn't ever going to happen again, because I'd probably kill somebody the next time, and that I needed to get out of that house for good. So, fast forward a few months into summer, when Joe and Nancy needed a babysitter for Joey, Justin, and Jeremy. I'd get picked up, and I'd go babysit the kids for 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And then I'd be taken home. And then pretty soon, Nancy wanted to go to work full time, which meant I basically stayed all the time. And that was a good thing, because that was truly the only place that I wanted to be. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be in foster homes. I just wanted to be there because I felt like family. And it was nice. So I don't know how exactly my mother was told that I was not coming home, but she was, and she agreed that I could live out there. For a semester, goodness gracious, of my senior year. Yeah. So for a semester of my senior year, in which I turned 18, I went to an adult education school, which meant I could still get a real diploma. But I still lacked 3 credits to graduate. So technically, though I have a college education, I had to get a GED. I didn't wait to get my GED. I got it in February of 1988, I think. Might have been 87. And here's why all that's foggy. In 1984, I believe it was October, I got a job at a place called Shakey's Pizza. Now, they were all over the place when I worked there, but I don't know if there's one left. And I got a job making pizzas, and then after I was really good at that, I got a job. I kept that job there, and I got to do the line, which was a buffet line and a pizza restaurant. So I got to work the line and put the food out, and I got to work sandwich shop, which had very little to do with sandwiches. It was more deep frying foods and things like that. And backing up to my past, somehow Anthony's dad and I, no, Anthony didn't exist, somehow we got in touch with each other, and he didn't have a job. So now I'm not saying he needed a job. I mean, he needed one because we were expected to work, but his family was not poor. They were not desolate, and he was not feeding the house. But anyway, so I talked to my boss, and he said they needed a dishwasher for days. Now, dishwashers got paid more because they also did all the marinating of the chicken and things like that the day before, and they did all the bussing of the tables and the dishes, and it was a big responsibility. So he took that job, and I don't know how long he worked there. I really don't. Couldn't have been more than a few months. And I'm baffled about why I have a blocked memory right here somewhere. Well, okay, I'm not really baffled because I don't think he was working there when the first wild episode of my life ever happened. So there was me and another young lady sitting on a trunk of a car that belonged to the gentleman that we were seeing at the time. And we were just sitting there, and both of their names were Scott, if I'm not mistaken. And they worked with us too. And maybe I'm struggling with these memories. I really, really am struggling. Yeah, and that was a big accident for me. But the month before this, which was March, 2 of our managers were getting married. So they had a great big not wild, but sort of wild party for all of us employees to go to if we were off at that time. Carrie and somebody, I think. But anyway, that doesn't matter. And so we all attended. Now at that point, I think Bob was still the dishwasher because he was there. And I didn't know he was going to be there. I just showed up, and next thing you know, that he showed up. So, we had dated previously. Now we're, going back. I'm now in 1985, and we saw each other, let's see, 83, I guess. Something like that. And I don't really know what happened. Maybe we were both too drunk, or maybe we had lost our minds. I'll go with that one. But we left the party with the intention of Bob taking me home. But we spent an extra 20 minutes in the backseat of his car in front of Carrie's house. And that's the night that Anthony was conceived. I was barely 17. And I didn't know we conceived a child. That should have been March 27th and of 85. And why that date stands out to me, it always has, and I'll never know why. Well, it's the only time I had sex with anybody in quite a long time on either side, so I guess that's why it stands out. So April 12th or 10th, the other girl that I worked with and I were sitting on the back of the car, and we were talking, and I don't remember what the boys were doing, playing Frisbee in the parking lot. We were in the parking lot right behind work. We hadn't even left work yet. And they decided to get in the car and hit the gas pedal. While nothing happened to her, I was allegedly, mind you, I have no real memory of this. This is when I was thrown 30 feet through the air, and I landed pretty much on my back, fractured my skull, and then the memories come in and out. Some of the things I know I've been told, and some of the things I know as time goes on I recall. There was a bunch of people, and they were standing around me, and eventually, I guess it wasn't long, an ambulance came. I don't remember too much of that commotion. I remember being in the ambulance, but here's the creepy part. I was looking down at myself in that ambulance. I was looking down at the man who was trying to keep me alive in that ambulance. And I couldn't see the driver, obviously, because he was in a cab. But that's the weird part of this story. Everybody always says when they die, they go to a bright light. I didn't have a bright light, but I did see people around me on the ground when I was there. And then I saw me being worked on by the gentleman in the ambulance. And pretty much after that, things got crazy. They got me to the hospital, forgot to tie me down. I had a head injury, so I got up off this gurney or whatever this was and rampaged through the main hall of the ER. I went in the bathroom, and I guess somebody tried to get me back to calm down, and I threw him into the stall door, not the door, the side, and apparently left carnage in the bathroom. Now, I don't remember any of this because I was completely out of my mind, but they realized that my brain was swelling, which was causing me to act funny, and they had to put me in a coma. Wow. And even just saying that, it still scares me. So they put me in a coma. And when I did wake up, and there were like fleeting seconds, I saw my mom stand over me on my right one time. Then I heard my friends talking about me being in that coma. Now, they did let, I think it was 1 or 2 people at a time in there. And they all said they were my sisters and brothers. And that's the funniest part, because remember, in real life, I had no sisters and brothers. And they looked nothing alike. All these random people who's, I'm her brother, I'm her sister, just to get in there, just to see me and make sure I'm still okay or alive. They all had to say that. And my friend Terry, who really was absent for most of this, but she was a good friend, she told me that she was in the elevator with my mom. And my mom said, "I just hate to be the person that did this to her." Well, of course, they're carrying a lot of guilt and a lot of things are happening. And yeah, of course you'd hate to be that person, but I don't think that's what she meant. Did she think I was going to wake up and go kill somebody? No. Because when I woke up, I had lost almost all of my memory. I could go back, 5, 7, 10 years, but I lost my memory of everything but sitting on the back of the car. And then what I saw from above, and then the fleeting moments that I actually, woke up. But I was in the hospital for, I think, 6 days. And 5 of it was in, it's for head injury people, and it's in ICU. And the one time that I woke up, I think they were trying to move me to a real room. I kind of got a glimpse of behind me, and it was just a wall of monitors. Just, they were breathing for me, obviously, while I was asleep. But a wall of things that were breathing for me, and a wall of things that were taking my oxygen and my blood pressure. And that was frightening. But more frightening was waking up in my own room and being told that all these things had happened to me. And being told because I had no memory of it. Anyway, I'm going to end that there. So for those of you having trouble keeping up, that happened. I turned 17 in March, got pregnant with Anthony a few weeks later. This accident happened on April 10th or 12th. And nobody knew I was pregnant through all this. They did not do a pregnancy test. And that'll come into play later. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll check in again soon. Bye.